Hello, everyone. Welcome. Also, Happy New Year. I wish you best for the 2025. I'm Professor Ozan Örmeci. As you know, I continue to make interviews with experts from all around the world. And today we have a special guest from the Republic of Cyprus. Dr. Theano Kalavana is a valuable colleague. She's an academic, but she's also presiding a civil society organization called OPEK. And this organization aims to facilitate dialogue on issues such as foreign policy, Cypriot participation in the European Union, Turkey's European path, and various aspects of European integration. Dr. Kalavana holds a PhD degree in psychology, and you will find her detailed resume below our YouTube video. Theo, welcome to our show. Thank you.
Thank you, Azan, for this opportunity, actually, because it's good to have a conversation around what is happening in our neighborhood, right?
Exactly. When you mentioned conversation, that automatically came to my mind, at the last, this was actually my first question. At the last European Political Community Summit in Budapest, Hungary, last November, I think, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan made an unconventional gesture, and he had a talk with Cypriot President Nicosia. There was much media coverage in Turkey and Turkish Cypriot press about this. How was the reaction in Cyprus, I mean, the southern Cyprus, Theo? That was my first question. Thank you.
I mean, the impression that that moment had in Greek Cypriots, let's say, it was like, okay, there is something going on. This is the one side, like, there is something starting, let's say, because we do have the hope that at some point we will go to resolution of the Cyprus problem, let's say. But on the other hand, we know, and the sense that we have from the 2 years of Mr. Christodoulidis being the president, we have the sense that there isn't much willingness for moving things forward as to solving the Cyprus problem. There are a lot of, intentions, but nothing in action, if I may say.
Okay. So media coverage, I mean, was that? Yes, okay.
Yeah, they covered it well. They mentioned it that actually, every time there is a moment where Turkey comes, closer to Cyprus in any way, there is a lot of coverage in the news. I must tell that it's not that positive every time. It's not like, I mean, there are media coveraging when they talk about Erdogan, they call him, the Sultan, like creating a negative kind of a perception in the people's minds. So it's not that it's all positive. There is coverage, but it's not in a positive sense, if I may say.
Okay. Sultan in our daily life, it's a very positive terminology. Believe
For
me,
us,
Sultan, it's refers to Ottoman past, glorious Ottoman past, or sometimes the famous actress of Turkish cinema, Türkan Şoray, was called Sultan. So Sultan is not a bad word, but okay.
For us, it's like the power and us without the lack of power, and he's the one who decides, and he's the one who is not solving the problem. So it's a lot of kind of this image and perception in people's mind when they use the word Sultan.
Okay, I get the idea. Thank you. So, Theo, my another question will be on Turkey's EU accession process. Unfortunately, the process was somehow frozen in recent years. But I always think that there will be a solution in Cyprus simultaneously or before with the Turkish accession to European Union. So, but we know that in the past, for some reasons, Greece and Cyprus took a negative stance for Turkish accession to EU. Today, the problem in Cyprus is deepened, so Turkish side refuses to start negotiations after the failure of Crans-Montana talks. I think they have some valid reasons for this. But in general, the mood in Cyprus for Turkish accession to EU, how people perceive, because if we'll be part of the same club, probably the solutions, not only between Cyprus and Turkey, but between Greece and Turkey also in Aegean or Mediterranean Sea problems will be easier. But how you perceive the problem, because obviously we have some disagreements. So I want to take your views.
I think if we go with what the public believes about it is that Turkey does not deserve to enter the EU. But when you make a step back and see the benefits of Turkey being part of the EU, there are many, many benefits there. On the other hand, if you look the history, I think that at some point Turkey, took herself out of trying to have very good relationships with Europe. I think the past few years, this change, there is this sense that Turkey is doing a lot, like wants to improve the relationships with EU. And also Turkey is an impact player in the Ukraine war with Russia. Was an impact player, is also an impact player now with Syria. So there is creating a positive, let's say, impression in Europe lately. And I think there is more, what we see is like there is a willingness and a good intention from Turkey to improve the relationships with Europe, but at the same time, Turkey is doing something else. If you don't want me, there are others that they want me. So, the other part with the Euro, with the Russia, and so on, what it is. Yeah. So it's on the one hand, it's like I'm here and I know that I'm strong enough to contribute to Europe, but if you don't want me, I can contribute somewhere else. So it's like, and I guess that this is a fair game for that they play. I mean, Turkey that play this game, but I think it made a lot of good steps. Also, great steps is the Greece and Turkey relationships. The past almost 1.5 to almost 2 years, right? That there's a very good relationship going on, and we saw it with the instant visa on the islands, that people were traveling a lot in the Greek islands, and there's a good collaboration in the coast guards, so as to refugees and so on. And I hope that this very good climate environment that is created between the two countries hopefully will help us too in Cyprus.
Okay, thank you.
It's helping Turkey for Europe also.
I agree with you. Another question that comes to my mind too. You've been to Turkey, I guess, many times, and you've been to North Cyprus also, I guess, because the passage is free for you. Unfortunately, as Turkish citizens, we cannot pass from north to south, but Turkish Cypriots having Cyprus passport can also pass. So, I mean, you've seen two communities. You spent many days, I think, in Turkey and North Cyprus. So was it difficult or threatening for you? I want to take your opinions on this. I mean, the development level or people's culture, was it striking something? There was something striking for you?
No, not at all. I mean, in Cyprus, the Turkish Cypriot community, I mean, I've been involved in many bi-communal activities since 2000. So I have great friends, great relationships. I'm also from the north. I'm a refugee. Just saying that this doesn't change, I mean, the past is past and we need to build a future together. And I think because both communities are crossing a lot. If you look at the numbers of how many people are crossing, it's more than millions. And both, I mean, times, that both from north to the south and south to the north. So I think there isn't any threat or any kind of fear inside the head of people. It was in the past, when the borders were, closed and all the enemy images in our head in both sides. But this, I don't think that exists anymore. In Turkey, I never felt, like I'm okay. When I visit, I'm like a tourist, right? Or if I have I mean, I was in a conference having a speech there. So I never felt, I never felt, threatened in any way because I'm Greek or Greek Cypriot, not at all.
We have our Greek citizens also, Greek originated Turkish citizens. We have Greek minority as our citizens, so we really love them and to do our best to make them happy in our country. So another question that I thought, Theo, for our conversation was the recent elections. In some of these elections, I know because I met one of his, I think, cousins, Niyazi Kızılyürek. He's a Turkish Cypriot academic and politician, but lives in South Cyprus. He was a candidate from an Akel party, I think, from the left-wing Akel party, and he was elected to European Parliament. He served one term but couldn't get re-elected, I think. So there were also some of my friends among the Turkish Cypriot community who became candidates for Cypriot parties, I mean, Greek Cypriot parties. Of course, there were also some reactions, but again, our aim is to solve problems in terms of Turkey, EU, and Cyprus problem. That's why could it be a catalyst, maybe, more Turkish Cypriots becoming candidates so that their seats, which are left empty, I think, in the Cypriot parliament will begin to be filled.
I mean, this will be a blessing, and I hope that whatever will be discussed, because we are moving away from the bilateral, bicommunal federation. We are moving into a federation. I think the new discussions that will come up, I think not a two-state solution, but two communities having one identity, national identity, but working together. So I feel like these steps, like having Turkish Cypriots as candidates, is a step towards that. And I hope that we will see more and more of that. 5 years ago, when we had the other European Parliament elections, let's say for MPs, was a kind of, wow, Turkish Cypriot Niazi, even though we had before, but now it's like it's normalized. It's not that strange. On the other hand, I know that the Turkish Cypriots, they are a bit concerned about that because they are joining Greek Cypriot party. But I think there is a new era around it. We've seen, Panathinaikos has a Turkish coach, the basketball team, and there are many, we are doing business together more and more. And that is the best way to remove any stereotypes we have in our head, right? Yeah. But so it would be great. It's building peace by having these kind of opportunities to contribute.
Maybe you can be a candidate also, Theo, in the next election. Why not?
Why not? Why not? We'll see. We'll
We
see.
need more female deputies from all countries, not just France, Turkey, maybe Cyprus.
Absolutely. But Cypriots and this part of the world, women are still I don't know. I think people are not ready for females to be that much in politics or in any kind of big, let's say, big into brackets positions.
Then you are agreeing with Turkish nationalists in North Cyprus in criticizing the church, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
joking. Another question, Theo. In recent months, because I try to follow Cypriot politics, both North and South, and Cyprus was on the headlines of American, British newspapers and European newspapers because there was President Biden hosted President Christodoulis, and there were talks about Cypriot accession into possible, of course, NATO. President Christodoulis made some statements confirming this trend, although there wasn't any formal application. And we know that Turkey, as a full member of NATO, will have to approve this application if it turns into reality. In that sense, maybe that will be another dimension which could facilitate somehow solution in Cyprus. What are the thoughts, the mainstream thoughts in Cyprus about NATO membership? Because it's, of course, it's an advantage, especially in geopolitical risks time, but also it brings some burdens. What the general community thinks about the becoming a NATO member?
In the general community, let's say the public, they are keen for that, but AGEL is not, the left party is not into that, disagree with such an approach. And to be honest, we cannot enter NATO without solving the Cyprus problem. I don't think this is a realistic, is not something that's realistic. I mean, I think Christodoulidis is putting it down just for the sake of creating impressions in public. I don't think, I mean, he knows that there isn't any chance, but he wants to play this game. And when he went to the States before Biden is stepping down from the role, it wasn't that the reason. It was other reasons. The conversation was around other things than really the NATO.
Okay. And maybe one final question, Theano, could be your message to Turkish Cypriots and Turkish community, because of course we try to be neutral in our publications, and I have several good contacts at the top level among the Turkish Cypriot community, Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. So some of them, of course, for domestic political reasons or for some psychological, emotional reasons, they still remember the periods of the 1960s, all these terrible events that took place between two communities. So, I mean, of course, it's very normal that people have some grievances and some anger, but what are your messages to Turkish Cypriot community? If there is a solution, will they be in danger? If Turkey becomes an EU member, will we become all Christians and we'll start, betraying Islam? So there are such fears, unfortunately, in our country. So what are your thoughts about this?
Well, I believe that strengthening the collaboration, it's a key for Greeks and Turkish, for Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots. I think strengthening the collaboration and the inclusiveness is a key to move forward together. History is there, nobody can erase it. What happened, many mistakes from both communities, let's say. It's not about whose fault is and who's not, but the learning from it is, and as a parent also, I feel like we must not allow this grievances and this anger to be transferred to the new generations and so on, because these are the future of the island. So we must learn from it, and then the more we collaborate, the more we work well together, the more we do things together, interact together, I think this will help us, to set the foundation for peace on the island. This is my belief, and what I want to, if I'm going to send a message, is like hold back any negative thoughts we had from the past, because it doesn't serve the future and it will never serve even the present. What will serve us now is to make this island great. And to be a great island needs both communities.
Sounds like a Trump campaign message. Make
Oh my goodness, did I sound like Trump?
Did you work in the Trump campaign, Theo?
No way, and I wouldn't. Even if I was asked, or even if I was paid well.
President is very convincing person, he can convince. They were just joking. And maybe one last question that comes to my mind. You were in Istanbul before, and probably you'll visit us once again. So what you like most about Türkiye, Istanbul, and when could be your next visit there?
The food.
Really?
I love the food. I love the Turkish food, to be honest. And I'm traveling to Brussels next week, and I'm gonna go to a Turkish restaurant because
Oh,
I like food there.
okay. I'll buy
So
you
the food
kebabs there. Okay, here I'll buy you. It's from me.
the food is the first, and of course, for me, Istanbul is magic. Um, and it has a lot of, I mean, for me, it has a Greek element there,
Yeah, sure.
you
Sure.
can see it. Yeah. So I love it. It's magic. It's in my heart. And the food, of course.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very normal. You know, some scholars, very famous one, says Ottoman Empire was a Turkish-Greek empire. So it's very normal that, we have many common cultural
Yeah.
aspects. So waiting forward for your next visit, Theo. I'll be your guide, hopefully. So we'll eat something together.
Yes, definitely, Ozan. Thank you for this interview and for this, let's say, conversation together. I enjoyed it, and I wish you all the best. And I wish all the best to the people that are listening to us to have a great 2025.
Thank you, Theo. See you.
See you. Bye bye.